Two men, different circumstances, similar outcomes. Today, I want to talk about Charles Trippy and Mike Cooke. Okay, it's not going to be that kind of rant. Alright, now if you've been watching my vlogs, you would know that around the end of July, holy crap, they're still fighting. Okay, never mind now. We're like in the middle of cleaning and they're freaking out because everything's being moved around. Anyway, let's just try and get through this and focus on the topic here. Now, the end of July, my best friend, Mike Cooke, was taken to the hospital. Actually, I went down to his place and took him there because I was worried about him. And it turns out he had a stroke. Now, the weird thing is he had this stroke a day before he even told anybody about it. So he was actually sitting there on his couch, you know, after, I don't know how people who had strokes feel, but that's how he was feeling for a whole day before he even told anyone. But anyway, I took him to the hospital because that's where he needed to be. Found out that he had a stroke, and you know, now he is, what happened was it damaged, not sure which side it was, but damaged a part of his brain. Obviously it was on the left side, and he lost, you know, lost all control of his right arm. Right now, since then he was in the hospital for 2 weeks, recovering. They weren't really doing much for him because, you know, if you watch my videos or my vlogs, you know that he wasn't improving at all. And then after the 2 weeks, they moved him to Riverview, which is a rehab center. Okay? Also a place where people go to die. That's totally different story. Anyway, he went there and they were doing rehab, what they're calling occupational therapy, to get him back into the workforce and get him, you know, using his hand. Well, since he's been in there, okay, this was 2 weeks after he went to the hospital, so it was about a month. Okay, let's just say, give or take a few days or whatever, around a month he's been in there. And am I right? Be about a month, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, about a month. I am not good with dates and times and stuff like that. Okay, I can't even remember people's names half the time. But yeah, slowly he's moving his arm, he's getting better, and you know, he's got his keyboard in his room and he's actually playing that, and that's helping. Now, a couple weeks ago, Shay Carl's best friend, Charles Trippy, went to the hospital because he had a tumor on his brain. And they went for brain surgery, which, incidentally, he vlogged he vlogged his own brain surgery, which is totally awesome. I watched it, okay? So, you know, Charles Trippy is part of CTFXC, the channel CTFXC. And I used to watch them years ago, right, with his girlfriend Allie and all that. And since then they've gotten married. They've gotten a world record for longest consecutive vlogs. I think he's like 1,600 and something days in a row. That's like into his 5th year. So he is, yeah. So basically, 2 weeks ago when I was talking about my favorite channels and that Shaytards were the only big YouTubers that I watch, it's changed since then, because now I'm watching CTFXC and Charles Trippy's channel because of the whole similarity, the similarities, and I'll get to that in just a second. Now, what happened was he had a tumor on his brain, and they removed 98% of it, and now, after the surgery, he lost use of his left arm. Okay? So he's been going through occupational therapy or rehab, right? I don't know if they're doing the whole occupational therapy, but it seems like the same stuff that Mike's going through. Okay? And he's improving the same way. And just like Mike, Charles is a musician. So there are a lot of similarities between the two. Like a few weeks ago, I actually went and posted a status on Facebook that said, Mike Cooke is Trippy and I'm his butler. Basically, it's the same damn thing, okay? Mike Cooke was in the hospital because he had a stroke. He lost control of his right arm. He needed to whatever, right? And I kept on going there and vlogging it. So putting that out on YouTube for you people to see. So, and then Charles Trippy went to the hospital for brain surgery. I know that's different. And lost control of his left arm. And Shay actually flew out to Chicago to see Charles and put him in his vlogs because they're best friends. So there's a lot of parallel similarities, whatever, and that's why I've decided to watch CTFXC again. And also because of the closeness between Charles and Shay is basically the same as me and Mike. Because Mike has been the star of 2 of my movies, The Case and now George, which incidentally comes out on October 15th on this channel. So make sure you come back and check it out. And yeah, so basically that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Like, it's a lot of the same things. I know that totally different, okay? A tumor and a stroke are totally different, but they cause pretty much the same outcome. Now I'm thinking maybe the tumor ate away at the same part of the brain that disappeared when Mike had his stroke, only on the opposite side. Because honestly, watching Charles Trippy during rehab and everything is the exact same as watching Mike Cooke go through his rehab. It's all the same. And plus, they're both musicians, and music actually helps the whole regeneration, or is it regeneration? Generation. Yeah, regeneration process of your brain, right? Because playing music stimulates your brain, and it'll actually help repair damaged brain cells. It's very, very, very weird how all this works, but it's you know, it's very fascinating too at the same time. So other than that, I think that's all I need to say. I've made my point. The point of this vlog is I am Shay Carl and Mike is Charles Trippy. Pretty much. You know, they both went into the hospital for completely different reasons, but they're both in rehab for pretty much the same reason. To get the movement back in their arms. Think about that. The brain is very delicate and anything can mess that up. So that's it. That's it for today. And yes, I will be tweeting this video to both Shay Carl and Charles Trippy. I don't really expect them to comment on this video, but it would mean a lot if they watched it. Take it easy.